is really, I think, awesome for understanding the flame chemistry and understanding neutral, bushy, sharp flames and kind of where you need to be on your oxygen. It seems like you can kind of crank the oxygen maybe more than it needs to, and it doesn't really like blow out the flame the way the Red Max would. But been sent out some work for a collab to do a relief little auction for proceeds to go towards the Asheville cleanup. It's kind of overdue with not being like trending disaster that's happened, and there's been more recent local disasters around here. The Northwest had quite impacted storm issues, but just wanted to fill you guys in. It's been quite a while. So I sent out that collab. I had somebody that won a bead that I sent out finally. I sent some family a box of glass that was well received, and they were excited to see my progress, and I was excited to share it, and love to feel their gratitude for that. It's been kind of a weird thing, a weird time, because essentially I've been told by my mentor, um, Slag Slag Glass, to not sell anything for the first 2 years, and just refine your skill, refine your hand, refine your processes, and have basically maybe a brand kind of figured out, rather than putting out work too early, putting out work. Oh, good morning. You can go to the bathroom. You can go in there, wherever you want. Um, yeah, Slide Glass told me, don't sell anything for 2 years, and it's just kind of like a rule of thumb. It's kind of like a benchmark, like not necessarily don't sell anything for 2 years, but like don't. And on those lines, my name Off Center Glass, such a contradiction to the whole glass world and the you know balancedness and everything of it. Um, but what I'm trying to say is, you don't want to diminish your brand. If you start selling stuff in the first 2 years, you're gonna what's meant by that is that you're going to have maybe people have an understanding of kind of this lesser work that might not be a great timeline of your work 2 years in. So just like, let's say like your timeline for the first 2 years, you're just doing everything and anything, right? I mean, you're doing everything for the very first time. You're making your first hammer, your first spoon, your first steamroller, your first Sherlock, your first, we're working on all these shapes, even if that's not your end goal of what you're going to build. These are building blocks of that, and in being reminded, I've been guided to work on fume implosions, fume spirals, and until I've got 100 of those, I really shouldn't be doing anything else. And so I've been trying to stay on focus and follow the rules of glass blowing and not dick around. Don't be a pussy. I don't remember what rule 3 and 4 are, but rule number 5, there are no rules. And yeah, shout out to my other mentor, Orphan Glass, Cricket, homie. Can't wait to step my skill up and do some collabs with you. He's been rocking a wavelength higher frequency, bringing on a kid to his shop that he's been training. Shout out Hashlang and Glasser, who's been rocking the facets in the Orphan Glass studio and making some magic and sacred dichro and spiritual orbs there. They've been doing a lot of marbles that have been faceted, and if you don't know what faceting is, it's when you basically put like the diamond edges on it. And I've been, making marbles, but sometimes I find, I felt like making a cube. That would be kind of like kind of like facets, anything that kind of has an edge on it. But then I start to learn to make triangles and pyramids, and a cube with an eyeball on it and stuff. But yeah, staying focused is so hard. In so many aspects of the store, of the shipping processes, and I can see why you'd hire an apprentice and you'd have someone do some of these other jobs that are less interesting. But everybody's got their own kind of idea of what they want to do, their own brand, and I think focusing your ideas super sharply. There's a lot of sayings that I picked up that are just, go through my head, and they make so much sense. There's a little backstory to kind of every one. Like, one of the biggest ones I'll share with you, like, don't do anything you're not willing to do twice. So a lot of times there'll be like a moment where I'm like, okay, I'm picking up some scrap off the table and I'm just kind of rolling it into a marble, and I think I'm kind of like, using, a moment to learn something, where it's kind of like I could be learning a lot more back to where I'm at in what I'm learning. Fume spirals, fume implosions, and working with silver fume. Meaning, also don't do, it revolves back to not doing anything that's not repeatable. So it's like, sure, you can make a lot of one-off cool stuff, but is it repeatable? Do you have the power to make that again? And so there's moments where I'm like, okay, I've gathered some scrap off the table and it's just a random mishmash of stuff. There's maybe a little blip of some scrap that's a little bit prettier that came out of someone else's scrap pile. And it's like got some tech in it that, a technique that came from someone else's hand. So it's like, okay, there's some unrepeatabilities because I didn't have that. I don't know what that tech was, the colors, how it was achieved, other than I know it's going to look cool. And some of my philosophies are upcycling and taking, glass and making it into something else. So I've been working on taking some